While Norse mythology is dominated by thunder gods, shape-shifting tricksters, and cosmic wolves, its borders often blur with the myths of neighboring peoples, especially those of the ancient Balts. Among these lesser-known deities is Patollo, also spelled Patullas, Patals, or Paddles, a dark and enigmatic god of the dead who governed the underworld and guided souls through the veil of mortality. Though primarily rooted in Baltic myth, Patollo's role as a chthonic figure reveals striking parallels with Norse beliefs and offers a powerful lens into how ancient cultures viewed life, death, and what lies beyond. Patollo was worshipped by the Old Prussians, a Baltic people closely related to the Lithuanians and Latvians. Their mythology shares many features with that of the Norse and Slavic traditions, particularly in their treatment of nature, ancestor worship, and seasonal rites. Like the Norse Hel, Patollo presided over the realm of the dead. But while Hel was half-rotted and queenly, Patollo was depicted more directly as a god of death, often seen as skeletal or cloaked in darkness. He was not necessarily evil, but he was feared and respected as the inevitable force that would come for all mortals. The most detailed accounts of Patollo come from medieval Christian chroniclers, particularly those who documented the pagan practices of the Baltic tribes before their forced conversion. These sources describe Patollo as one of several gods worshipped during seasonal festivals and funerary rites. Offerings were made to him to appease the dead, prevent hauntings, and ensure that spirits could find peace in the afterlife. In this way, Patollo functioned as both a psychopomp and a guardian of the ancestral realm. His cult was strongly associated with autumn and winter, the darker half of the year, when days grew short and death loomed over the land. Bonfires were lit, graves were visited, and sacrifices, sometimes food, sometimes animals, were made in his name. Like the Norse belief in Dissablot, a sacrificial festival honoring female spirits of fate and the dead, the veneration of Patollo reflected a worldview where the dead remained present, influencing the living from beyond the grave. Some legends portray Patollo as having dominion over dreams and shadows, suggesting he was also invoked during divination or spiritual visions. His name was whispered rather than spoken aloud, and his presence was believed to be strongest in cemeteries, forests, and thresholds, the liminal places between life and death. In this, Patollo shared attributes with Norse beings like Draugr, restless dead, and Fylgjur, spiritual followers, as well as with the goddess Freyja, who guided half the battle dead to her hall, Folkvangr. While Patollo is not found directly in Norse mythology, he occupies a conceptual space that complements it. The Norse cosmos included Helheim, ruled by Hel, daughter of Loki, where the non-heroic dead went. Similarly, Patollo's underworld was not a place of punishment, but one of shadow and memory. Death was not feared for its pain, but for its unknown, and gods like Patollo existed to give that mystery a face and form. Another point of comparison is with the Norse god Odin, who, though not a god of the dead per se, often sought wisdom through interaction with the dead. Odin raised spirits, traveled to Hel, and sought knowledge from seers and corpses alike. Patollo, though less active in myths, stood as a more permanent symbol of death's role in the spiritual cycle. Where Odin dabbled, Patollo ruled. Modern Reconstructionist and neo-pagan movements have begun to rediscover and reclaim figures like Patollo. With growing interest in pre-Christian European spirituality, many are turning to the old gods who governed life's most fundamental aspects. Patollo is now seen not only as a figure of fear, but of ancestral reverence, transformation, and sacred responsibility. Honoring him means remembering those who came before, recognizing the inevitability of death, and preparing spiritually for the afterlife. In a world that often seeks to sanitize or deny death, Patollo remains a reminder that mortality is not an end, but a passage. He is a god of thresholds, of the silence between breaths, of the final turning of the season. His myth, though buried by time and conquest, survives in whispers, in bonfires, in old stones, and forgotten names. Whether seen as a Baltic psychopomp, a shadowy god of the cold earth, or a mythic counterpart to Norse deities of death and fate, Patollo deserves a place in the broader conversation about ancient European mythology. He embodies what all mythologies must wrestle with, the question of what happens after the final breath, and the reverence owed to those who walked this world before us.